What do you say there, Matthias? The Jaws tale. It's really cool, man. Like, I'll be laying in bed and I'll see something out of the corner of my eye. But what I eventually see at the foot of my bed is like, you know, the tail going by. And of course, I can't think of anything but the shark's fin from, of course, we all know, the Ellen DeGeneres show. No, Jaws. But anyways, yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful early fall afternoon, and gotten some things done, and it's all good and well, right, boys and girls? So, anyways, I think tonight is Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Lakers are up 2-0. Yankees play Game 1 against the Tampa Bay Rays in the Division Series in baseball. The winner of that series goes to the American League Championship Series, and the winner of that goes to the World Series. It's very weird because it's been an abbreviated Major League Baseball season and a prolonged abbreviated NBA season, but I'm going to tell it to you right now. The Lakers are going to be NBA champs, and there's going to be an ode to the late Kobe Bryant and his family. You know, as we all know, Kobe died earlier this year in a tragic helicopter crash in Calabasas, California, with his daughter and an entourage of friends. This has been, certainly in my 50-odd years, the most challenging year of my life. You know, when I met my birth dad many years ago, you know, I asked him, like, you know, what was the 60s like? Because he grew up in the 50s and 60s, right? And I grew up in the 70s and 80s. And he said, you know, Scott, I got to tell you, you couldn't help but read the newspapers, you know, and you found yourself at the record stores a lot because there were so many artists that were rising and new, and there was always just so many songs and so many bands and albums. And back then, he said it was all about singles, mainly on vinyl. And those were called EPs, extended plays. And then the bigger physical album records were known as LPs, long plays, you know. But he said there was always something to buy or to, you know, get into. And he says that's where you met a lot of people. The malt shops or the diners or the record stores, or in the later 60s, the protests. But 2020 has definitely been one of those years where it's like, you know, we don't really buy the newspaper much anymore, but we're obviously staying in tune with the straight and narrow, right? Just the world pulse and social medias. And you got to be careful, of course, what you listen to and subscribe to, because with social medias, there's a lot of irresponsible journalism going on out there. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. A lot of things that have a very tainted or slanted point of view that are erroneous or largely inaccurate. And, you know, again, like anything in life, you have to pick and choose your battles, or you know, are you going to buy what you read in the papers? You know, one of the things that I really worked at and instilled in my daughter when she was little, on the adage of, you know, don't necessarily buy what you read in the papers. You know, if you feel that something doesn't make sense, or, you know, if you smell smoke, find out where the fire is, you know. I don't care what era we're in. There's responsible and irresponsible reporting and journalism. Absolutely. Matthias, I'll fill your cup. I'm sorry. You drink a lot of water, which is good. He's drinking from his water cup. You can't see it right now. Here, hold on. Right? Yeah. Okay, I'll fill that up because I don't want you to get like cup face. You know, it could be like, all right. But anyways, you guys really do. You know, in the next month we have the upcoming election. And win, lose, or draw, I mean, that's going to be a three-ring shit show in itself. We know that. I mean, that's a no-brainer. That's going to be really off the wall. How that's all going to, you know, take shape and play out. Again, I think I know who's going to win. But, you know, Now we hear that our president and first lady have tested positive. But Trump's back on his feet. He's got the very finest doctors in the world working on him. You can't expect anything less. And, best wishes to the first lady. I hope she's doing well herself. But, apparently it reaches all spectrums. Even the elite of the elite are not prone to this epidemic, pandemic virus. I just still doesn't make any sense to me, and probably never will. But, like anything else, we have to get through it. We have to power through it. It is what it is, and it's no fun. And, the children are the ones that certainly suffer the most. Those are the ones, when I see these little small children walking around with these little masks on, that bothers me. And it should bother you too. That's not it's not fun. That's not cool. And like I said, I'm hoping we can get a cap on this thing here soon enough that the smallest of the children that are just starting to build their cognitive memories might be like, Mom, when I was little, was I sick? No, you were very healthy. But I remember like wearing a mask a lot, and you were wearing one, and Dad and my siblings, and a lot of people were, and I just didn't know if I was contagious. No, sweetie, that was just a bad time in world history, but we got through it. But no, you remember right. There was something going on, but it had nothing to do with you. It was just a way that we protected ourselves, But still, those are memories that children shouldn't have, right? Yeah. But, we got, another little under 3 months to go of this year, and stick around, boys and girls. It's not over yet. And I think as we roll into 21, sure, this isn't going to magically disappear. Maybe the election will be over and we'll be settled in to a new administration, or a similar administration, right? Current one. I don't know, but I will say this much. We really need to kind of watch ourselves on our politics, because, again, moderation. I don't care whether it's politics, religion, drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, sweet tooth, whatever it is. We have to learn to moderate. We have to learn to, let some things go, or just slide over us, or not take it so personally. We're getting way too militant with our politics right now, and it's very unhealthy. No matter what the front is, whatever the agenda is, or whatever the primary focus is, you have to be able to compartmentalize, and it can't consume you. Like, we all know how much I love Van Halen, but I love Rush, and I love Zeppelin, and I might kick around some Boston or some Kansas. Might listen to some early Eminem, Peanut, not regular. Some country, whatever. Stay diversified. Don't put all your eggs in that proverbial one basket. And I'm seeing a lot of that. And it's like, that would be one of my messages again in this video is stay liquid, stay somewhat flexible. Don't get too rigid. And that's coming from a guy who's, getting some gray and is definitely becoming a sir, not a, hey man, hey dude, what's going on, guy? Can I help you, sir? No, young man, thank you. I can carry these 2 sacks of groceries to the car, but I appreciate it. Right. Hey, seriously, look, don't ever get bent out of shape as you guys get older, and if you get called sir, or if you ladies get older and get called, ma'am or something, really, that's a good upbringing. That's showing respect, and I'm definitely moving into my sir years, and that's okay. That's cool, because, it's clearly obvious that I've been here for a few minutes, right? You don't get to this age by accident. You have to make some concentrated effort, some level of, health-minded orientations to get this far down the road, you know, and further. But I hope everybody who hears this is doing well, and happy Monday, right? Only 4 days to the weekend. Yeah, whatever. But it's all good here in Utah. Yeah. And I just want things to get better. You know, I piss and moan a lot about having a woman in my life. Well, it's not about having a woman in my life. That's easy. It's having the right one. You know? And every now and then I brush up against the right one, whether she's married or she's a friend of a friend or if she's a former, you know, or an ex. Every now and then I brush up against someone and it's, you know, not maybe literally, but I brush up with them, you know, get reconnected. And it's gives me a little bit of hope. And it reminds me if it's something of the past that I had good taste, you know, and I was blessed there. But lightning is only going to strike so many times for any one person in any one lifetime, right? And I miss the hugs. I miss hand-holding. I miss the snuggling. I miss the audience that if I come up with something new or funny, they get to hear it first, you know, and get their reactions. It's definitely not about the sex. I've had plenty of that. It's about the bonding and the companionship. The yin and the yang, the frick and the frack, the heckle and the jekyll, the Beavis and the Butthead, right? That's what I miss, the camaraderie of someone special of the opposite sex. Because, you know, a woman that has a good sense of humor, to me, or a sense of style, or listens to good music, invaluable. You know, it's not about how nice your ass is, or how soft your feet are, or how piercing your blue eyes can be. Now, granted, I'm a sucker for blue eyes. Guilty. But the eyes are the windows to the soul, and that's definitely the first thing I notice with a woman. You know, what are they telling me? What's the buoyancy? What's the resonance of it all? You know. But yeah, that's what I miss. Sex is in the back seat of the trunk. The camaraderie and the bonding and the sharing and that stuff. That's the passenger in the front seat.